we just went into a really interesting stall. It's called Take 3 and we're going to take you in there. What they focus on is getting rid of the pollution in waters, which includes plastic. And if you can see, they've got a pretty interesting setup.
Mostly plastic based, so they're talking about how how it ruins the environment. If you can see here, this is actually a picture of an albatross that they found. And look at all the contents of its stomach is basically all the rubbish. So, yeah,
So we're going to interview some of these people.
Yeah. Okay, so what inspired you to develop this idea or concept?
Well, I'm a surfer and someone who just loves the beaches and the waterways, and I started seeing, as I was travelling the world, more and more rubbish washing up on the beaches, and I knew it didn't belong there, so I always felt inclined to pick it up and take it away. But as I got older and I started to learn more about the impacts that plastics and debris were having on wildlife, I got really concerned. That's why we started the organisation called Take 3. The idea is that you just take 3 bits of rubbish with you when you leave the beach or the waterway, but we also say, you can do it in your school playground because the ocean is downhill from everywhere and every river leads to the sea.
So how do you allow students to get involved in this project?
Well, because it is such a simple action and it can be adopted anywhere, we like to give students and schools a chance to do whatever they think creatively to make a difference. So we see all sorts of projects happening in schools. Some schools look towards getting better bins or more bins. Other schools have little groups of students that go and clean up the playground once a week. Some schools even have a special bell that after recess they ring that bell and then the students go out and will actually pick up 3 bits of rubbish before going to class, and then the playground is left clean. So obviously we think picking up rubbish is really important, but it's also really important to reduce the amount of plastic packaging we're using in the first place. So we really encourage schools to bring less packaging to school, have trash-free lunch days, waste-free days, reduce the amount of plastic at your school canteen. Some schools have even actually stopped selling bottled water at school and they've instead installed filtered cold water refill points. So there's a whole lot you can do there, and most importantly, I guess, in the first instance, you can just start spreading some information about Take 3 so all your students are aware of it.
So can you take us around your stall and show us a bit of the things that you've got on display?
Sure, yeah, feel free to come and have a look here.
Yep.
So as you can see, we do lots of work with whole areas of the community, both schools, preschools and primary schools, and we think it's really important to show, first and foremost, some of the impacts that it's having on wildlife. So you'll see some of our materials here, like shots of a sea turtle there. Sea turtles are particularly vulnerable to this issue because they often mistake plastics like plastic bags for a natural food source. Some sea turtle species actually eat jellyfish, and as you can imagine, plastic bags look just like jellyfish. Also, seabirds are really quite vulnerable. Seabirds like this albatross are actually not choosing to eat that plastic. It's actually fed that plastic by its mother and father who forage the open ocean for food. So we do use the graphic imagery there to show what's going on, but we also try and make it fun as well. So you'll see some of our other imagery there is about making it fun and engaging. So just lots of photographs showing the problem, showing some of the examples of what we do in schools. We're also having students coming in and spending 30 minutes in here learning about the problem and actually coming up with their own solutions here in the display. So come for a walk around and we'll show you some other examples. This is nothing that anyone likes to see there. That's actually a dolphin off Hawaii that's been caught up in a plastic bag. So there's a very good reason there why we should all be doing our best to refuse plastic bags. I think it's a much more sensible thing to take our own reusable shopping bags with us when we go to the market. So hopefully some of you are already doing that already. Come around a bit more here. Some photographs. That's actually a local school there which has painted their bins in their playground with murals about Take 3. So that's encouraging the students to get more concerned about making sure their rubbish does all go into the bin, which is great. This is actually a sample of what we call plastic sand or microplastic. As you might be aware, plastic is made from oil and natural gas, and that means that it doesn't biodegrade. So nothing that we make out of plastic will actually decompose back into the earth or into the ocean. So when it gets into the sea, plastic breaks into smaller and smaller pieces. And that's what we see here. This is a sample I collected from Hawaii that shows you that the biggest problem in the ocean is actually the microplastic, because this stuff is very difficult for us to clean up. And it also looks just like food for a whole range of animals, right the way down from small fish and plankton, all the way through the food chain to whales as well. So it goes to show it's going to be very difficult to clean up the oceans of all this plastic. Going around here, that's another example of what the same place I got that plastic sand from. That's what the beach looked like in Hawaii. Now, the reason why Hawaii suffers in this way is because of something called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. This is a region in the world's oceans where the currents actually push and swirl all the plastic around. So it's situated in the North Pacific, and Hawaii is right in the middle there. So even though you'd like to imagine that Hawaii would have beautiful, pristine beaches, they actually look like this because of this Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And some more kind of samples here of what the microplastic looks like in the ocean. And a few more other examples there. We've got our Take 3 reusable water bottles and T-shirts and various other things. And that's definitely one thing that we also always advocate, that you should refuse plastic bottled water and use your reusable bottles instead.
Well, you've got a brilliant setup here. Thank you for showing us. And yeah, we hope you enjoy the rest of your day and you get the great feedback, positive feedback that you want from your students.
Great.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.